meetings for all council meetings and city commission and committee meetings for the month of January, as well as your first council meeting in February. Obviously, the reason for the request is just the surge or the potential surge period related to Omicron virus. We think it'd just be safer, especially in January. You have a lot of joint meetings, like you have a joint meeting with CSEC, joint meeting with the DRHPC. And really, we think it'd be a little safer since there's so many people we'd be trying to squeeze into the ELC if we just do that virtually. The one exception would be the housing element kickoff meeting scheduled for end of January. We would actually move that to February or March with the hopes that that could be an in-person meeting after the surge. And so basically what the resolution does, it follows the requirements of SB 361, which allows the council to make findings, so allows to meet virtually, and you actually have to reconsider those findings every 30 days. So that's why your first meeting in February, while it would be virtual, you would also have the opportunity to consider whether or not to continue virtual meetings or to go back to meeting in person. And that would apply to all the city boards and commissions. Oh. Sonoma City Council. That's pretty funny. Don't know if that's a comment, but anyway, that concludes staff report.
All right. I have a question. If you mentioned 30 days to renew, if we don't have any chance to renew, that means defaulted and keep going on, or no any change, or
actually, if you don't renew it, then you would go back to in-person meetings, your second meeting in February, and any city commission or committee meetings after February 2nd, or whatever 30 days is from today, would go back to meeting in person.
I see. All right. Yeah. Other council members.
If this potential wave abates in mid to even late January, would the February meeting continue to be virtual?
No, we don't. We can go back to in person at any time.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be, I guess what we could say is I guess the best way to do that would be based on my review of whatever data, then I can always unofficially ask the council if you like to meet in person again in your February meeting.
Okay, that works for me.
Yeah, you're fine.
No question.
First one is when you said committee meeting, so an ad hoc committee meeting we had scheduled for next Monday would be virtual then?
If the ad hoc, as long as it's not subject to the Brown Act, you can do it either way.
Okay.
But actual council subcommittees that are subject to the Brown Act would be meeting virtual.
Are you going to be gone?
No, not on Monday.
Okay. So I guess we'll hear from Christina or somebody on whether that's going virtual or
Right. I think it'd be up to the subcommittee members.
Yeah.
I think if you thought it could be safely done in person, I think that's fine. If you prefer virtual, then that's something you could talk to your staff
would
members.
you have her reach out to that members of the ad hoc and try to ascertain where we're going to meet and what we're going to do? Second question, why do we have to kick the housing element kickoff meeting, so to speak, down the road again? I realize that we want to do it in person, but we're going to be in overtime pretty soon rather than kickoff. And it just seems that we have had countless delays, and it's not a good thing. Even if we could just get an initial meeting going and hold it virtually to have a start to the whole process, because we're running out of time.
So I should probably clarify. So the consultant still is actually doing all the data collection, actually working. So the kickoff meeting doesn't slow down any of the work the consultant does. I think we have a little flexibility. So if it just moved to February or March, then we all think it would be better in person for that type of kickoff meting.
Yeah,
It doesn't slow down the actual process behind the scenes.
However, we've applied that rationale last September, October, November. Now it's January. and it keeps going and we're running out of time.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. I think we're thinking if we can't do it in February or March in person, then we would just go ahead and just do it virtual. I think that's what we're recommending. However, if the council thought, let's just cut to the chase, we have the date, let's just do it virtual in January, we're fine with that too.
Well, what's the pleasure of the rest of the council? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, how about you? I'm also good at that. Just to keep it open to receive public comments. And then at the same time, we still can wait for consulting company give us some more data.
I mean, yeah. I guess I'm fine either way. I would prefer it in person. I think we all would, but you know, if we get into the same sort of situation as we have before, I do know the consultant team can't always meet, right? I mean, in the past, it's been hard to schedule because we obviously have to get council on board and the planning commission, but then this consultant team. And so if if they had flexibility in early February, I would be open to just delaying it for a little bit, but I guess we don't know if we have that information at this point.
Yeah, we actually don't have that yet, unless David's on the line. I did ask him to check. Oh, maybe David had checked the council. He was going to check on February and March dates and get a date in each month with the consultant.
I guess my concern is, I share, Councilman Felder's concern that, and there are two things that are true, and I confirmed this with David once, that a lot of the work of the housing element has started and is ongoing. And so the kickoff isn't really like when it starts, but it's like the community kickoff. And I think that we need as much time as the mayor and Councilman Felder has said in terms of public input and getting that process right. So it's a tough one. I don't know. And I think it's better to do that in person, obviously. But if it's a March, April situation, then yeah.
The one thing, if I don't mind, Mayor and Council, that I could add is with the technology, with the Zoom and the ability to stream all of that, to do that in a remote location rather than the chambers in person, we're going to have a little bit more difficulty. So virtual may be actually easier to be able to get more people involved and stream it. That's just something to keep in mind.
So is the council's pleasure keep our January 25th date?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
do that.
Mhm.
Assuming the consultant all of a sudden book it based on what we just probably told them. But anyway, okay, we will do that. We will keep the January 25th housing element. It will be a virtual meeting. And so
That's good.
our materials and newsletters and all that information that goes out to the public, we'll be doing it as a virtual meeting, virtual workshop, joint meeting between the planning commission
well,
and the
and
council.
it's a matter of perception, and I think the public is sitting out there saying, why do you keep delaying this thing? And so if we move ahead, even if it has to be virtual for this first kickoff, I think it's a better way to show the public that we're actively working on it than to just say, oh, it's going to be February or March now.
Has there been any consideration to possibly having it in a bigger room? Like I understand the city clerk just said that there would be difficulties, but if there could be an opportunity to socially distance, and then could we require like N95 masks and vaccination, or at that point is it even?
I think what the clerk was saying for the housing element, kickoff, we would probably have it at some place like the Vintage House or the Vets building. And so there's plenty of room to spread out. It's just that it's not set up well for streaming or Zooming, just by the function of it's a different facility. It's that much bigger, and that just makes it a little more complicated from that.
You could
from that
record it,
perspective.
but it wouldn't necessarily be live.
Right, it
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
be
Zoom
live.
interaction.
Right, it'd be really, it just makes it that much more difficult.
The vets would be the worst, I would imagine, but Hannah must have something. I don't know. Hannah has a big facility.
It's outside the city limits.
Oh, God,
Okay,
that's a
boundary.
sin, sorry.
I see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, because I know I've been to, they have a lot of stuff, so.
I mean, I'm fine with however, yeah.
All right, yeah, feels like, do
Thank
we
you,
need
Bob.
the motion or? Oh, all right. So who want to put the motion or for the, public, yes. Right now, it's open to the public.
Sit down over there. Sorry.
Is there any, is a Zoom, raise the hand?
Let's give them just a minute
All
because we
right.
do have one member that's of
That's
the
great.
audience that's not a staff member.
Mhm.
Doesn't appear that he's raising his hand, Mr. Mayor.
All right, yeah, so in this way, I will close to the public and then right now, and then I'll council and then make the motion.
Move to approve.
Yeah, move to approve, then,
resolution?
Yeah, housing element and then the meeting.
Oh, no, because that's something else, is it?
I think all you need is a motion to adopt the resolution.
Oh,
The-
okay.
The housing element, I don't need direction. It just means we'll go ahead and continue as scheduled.
I can do that. I
All
can
right.
move.
Can you use your mic?
Oh,
Councilmember,
All right,
thank
thank you. I have to read my paper on my phone. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sonoma authorizing remote conference meetings of the City Council and all city commissions and committees pursuant to Government Code Election something 361, is that what it is? I can't,
And
Code
54953.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's my motion.
All right.
Thank you.
I second.
Councilmember,
Yeah, roll call, please.
Councilmember Agramonte,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Barnett,
I,
Councilmember Felder,
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
I
Thank you. The motion carries 401.
thank you. And then the item number 3, adjournment.
Yeah, actually, I have one thing that doesn't necessarily related to the resolution you adopted,
Mm.
but it has to do with, we know we talked about the city manager evaluation. And so probably the next available date that seems to work for everyone would be the 19th, but that would be better in person than virtual. So I guess my questions as a council is, are you okay meeting in person prior to meeting, say like 4:30, maybe here? But then what would mean that when we go to virtual, then we'd have to leave prior to 6 so you can get to whatever location you're gonna participate virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the front part of the meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For-
people just still
right.
have to do that through Zoom because we're not doing in-person meetings.
Oh, unless we do just that one special closed session in person.
I don't know if we
But-
can, but
Yeah.
we're doing AB 361.
Yeah, so I think I think
Yeah.
what we would do is you'd have a special closed
Yeah.
session prior to the meeting,
Yeah.
and that would be in person. And okay,
So that day, 19. Now, according to resolution we just sort of passed, and the regular meeting should be in the virtual Zoom meeting, right? But after the in-person meeting in a small room for the city council, and we'll go back to home on our office, or
Maybe we could go
Yeah.
to the EOC. It's big.
or you'll see, or how,
yeah, I think, I mean, it makes it a little more
Yeah.
confusing, but the issue will be if you're participating virtually, then because of the computers and Zoom and avoid all that feedback, you'd have to be in spaces where you couldn't hear each other. Just for Zoom purposes, otherwise it creates all that feedback. So the ELC, it's probably not, would create a problem, except when only one of you were there. Each one of you would have to be in a different
So
room.
it should be here.
Are you talking about the closed session or
Yeah.
yeah,
the
closed section.
closed session's fine. You could do that in the EOC, but you could not all attend from this area for the regular meeting for the virtual Zoom portion.
Well, we could come back here. Is that there is?
No.
No, yeah, we
You
should
have to
go
go
to
off.
our place,
Or-
home or an office, yeah.
Oh, I see. Go
Mhm.
back to.
It makes it
Yeah.
easier.
To be compliant with the resolution today we approved.
does this state law allow us, could we have a public meeting in person, but just not allow anyone to come and just do it on Zoom? Like, because I mean, we're basically functioning that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having closed sessions. We're here right now. Like, would we be able to have public meetings like this? But I mean, I'm just asking a question.
I think
off the top of
some
my head.
agencies do
Yeah.
that. The council meets in person
Mhm.
with limited staff and then the public participates remotely, or they just let one person come in at a time to talk.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then maybe we have to do partitions and I don't know, it gets a little more confusing that way.
Because the public's not part of the evaluation.
No, I meant.
No, I'm not asking
Yes,
you.
correct.
I'm
I'm-
just sort of sending this up to the gods.
Well, I'm just sort of, personally, I find that
Oh,
it a little interesting,
Okay.
like we can't meet in person, but we're gonna meet in person, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's, it is, yeah, it's a little confusing, because if you're all, I think via Zoom, if you're all there, then you'd have one camera kind of
mhm.
at you, and then you'd be talking into a mic, and then we gotta figure out how other people can participate. I just think for the evaluation, it works better in person, but you can do you can do it virtually, if that's what you wanted to do. I
Yeah.
see.
In this way, I think that everything is changing every day. So now, also we have an option to move to change the evaluation day to another day. We can gather together and then
I
keep-
don't know, Jack, I'm sorry. Oh, I
Yeah,
apologize,
keep-
Mr. Mayor.
yeah, it's fine. Keep the January the 19th just straightforward for the regular city council meeting, view and then a virtual meeting. And we can find another day for evaluation, either earlier than the 19th or after, or how's that?
So-
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so I understand the date for the real a deadline is the 20th. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, the agreement says within 6 months, but the reality is it's just kind of whatever works out best for all 5 council members to attend. So you could, I mean, it'd be fine if you wanted to wait till February. If you went back in person, then that'd be easier. Or if you wanted to do in January, that's fine
Yeah,
too.
I would, well, for me personally, I'd prefer the 19th to get, just move it forward. Because, it's just, it's appropriate, I think, that. So I wouldn't want to
Okay.
wiggle.
yeah.
I guess I'd like to see maybe a little earlier start time on that, like at 4 o'clock or
Right.
something, to give us a little gap
Yes.
to get
Uh-huh.
back to where we're going.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that is good.
And if we're going to be going into our council meeting, there hopefully would be some type of refreshments provided for the council. Because we could be here till, I don't know what time.
You won't be here. You'll be leaving after your closed
We're
session.
Going home. Well, I would like my food delivered then to my house. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bob.
all right. So can we discuss another item or no?
Yeah, only
Okay.
unless it's related
Alright.
to this item.
Okay,
I'm ready.
all right.
Adjourn, Mr. Mayor? I can't remember.
Yes, and right now is adjourned, right? Yeah. Do we need to put a motion or no motion?
Just say goodbye.
Yeah, yeah. All right, meeting is closed.
Thank you.
That's it.